Hello, and welcome to USA Archery's coverage of the 2024 AAE Arizona Cup. Brought to you by Verona Real Estate Group and DataCore Fund Services, and presented by Win & Win. It's great to have your company on a cool afternoon here in Phoenix, Arizona, in the United States of America. My name is George Tekmenchov. Alongside me, I am joined by United States Paralympian Eric Bennett. And between us, we'll take you through all the gold medal matches in the senior divisions in compound, barebow, and recurve. We are about to get underway with the compound matches, but look forward now to what we have coming up. Lots of matches this afternoon, Eric, and we've got some of the best shooters in the world in the men's compound category match coming up soon. But our first match for this afternoon is going to be Abigail Winterton and Olivia Dean. Abigail was one of my co-commentators last year at the SoCal Shootout down in Chula Vista.
Oh, that's great to hear. I actually don't really know Abigail very well. I've seen her shoot. She obviously shot some pretty good scores here this week.
Yeah.
And
a well-accomplished shooter at the age of 19, and her opponent, Olivia Dean, who had a fantastic start to the year so far. Las Vegas champion, and she's done quite a bit else besides that, world youth medalist. And so we expect to see a pretty good match starting out here in just a few moments. And our director of shooting is about to introduce this.
Welcome to sunny Arizona. We're going to begin the gold medal matches for the 2024 Arizona Cup Championships. First up, we will have the compound women. I'd like to have the coaches come into the venue. Next, we have our judge for the match, Jim Flores, accompanying our two archers. We have Abigail Winterton, ranked number 8, and Olivia Dean, ranked number 2.
And those rankings are from the qualifying round here in the Arizona Cup earlier this week.
Both of these women shot great scores in the eliminations leading into this match.
Yeah, the conditions were certainly a little better, Eric.
Abigail is on the right, Olivia on the left.
So as we speak right now, Eric, we've got ourselves a little bit of a breeze. It's coming in from east to west at this venue. And, you know, oftentimes here in Arizona, the wind comes from the same direction as where the sun is in the sky.
Yeah, it's usually, especially in the afternoon, too. It's definitely windy here.
Yeah. Looks like Olivia is going to be shooting first on target number 2 as she gets underway. Every one of these shooters is actually shooting this finals venue cold. They did not have a familiarization session. So partly, I think, on your mind, what do you think? I would be worried about my sight mark. Make sure that's on.
I would think just especially high and low.
Yeah. Try to get as good a shot as you can. You're dealing with the wind conditions, of course. There's a liner 10-9.
10.
A little bit on the high side.
Yep. Spotters say that's a 10. That could be called out if the judges take a really close look. It's close. And over on target number 1, we've got ourselves an 8 to start the match. Now remember that the scores that you hear are unofficial until the judges actually get to the target.
X.
Second shot is on the X-ring line at about 11:30.
Olivia had great shot process there. She looks...
The timing looked pretty good, didn't it?
9.
And a 9. It's taking Abigail just a little more time to dial herself in. You don't have much forgiveness in the compound category. You only have 15 arrows to work with, and if you fall behind too far at the beginning, it's almost over at that point. There's an X.
X.
Great start. For
Yeah,
Olivia.
really solid start. No question. Abigail finishing with a 9, so she's got herself a hole to dig herself out of, Eric.
Yeah, it's interesting that Olivia's first shots were a little bit high.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Abigail's were a little bit low. Abigail's still making adjustments to her sight, so we'll see what it looks like on this next end.
Looking at this as a competitor, if you find yourself in a situation like this, what's on your mind? What are you going to try to do?
Well, if I'm in Olivia's position, I feel really confident about the way I just shot, so I'm going to maintain that hopefully into the next end.
Yeah.
If I'm Abigail, I want to make sure this next shot is either at X level or even a little bit higher.
To give herself a little bit of confidence.
I can't keep losing them out the bottom.
Yeah. I'm not seeing much interaction between Abigail's coach and herself, and we are seeing lots of interaction right now between Olivia and her coach. So, you know, that's another dynamic that's quite important. coach has just as much of a role in this, don't they?
Yeah. Well, as young as Olivia is, she's got a lot of really high-level competition experience underneath her belt.
Absolutely.
And Abigail doesn't look quite as comfortable. We'll see how she goes.
Yeah. Okay, as the judges are racking up the scores, the flip charts under the targets are showing the official call, and we're looking at a 26 for Abigail. We've got a clean score to start for Olivia. So a 4-point deficit, hard to overcome, but not impossible.
No, definitely not, especially with these conditions.
Yeah, that's a good point, because as the gusting winds are coming into the venue, remember yesterday we had really wonderful weather.
Yeah, it's getting actually cloudier too as we go too.
Yeah, flat light can help a recurve shooter. I don't know if it's such a great thing for compound. It all depends upon situation like your peep sight size, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Okay, second end, Abigail is behind by 4 points. She will shoot first. The lower scoring archer always shoots first as we alternate. Abigail opening. Oh, that's not what she wanted. That's a 7 out the side there.
Yeah, with the 20-second shot clock, the gust picked up, and I don't think she had much time to really
Didn't have time to correct with the float. Yeah, one thing that's for sure when you're, and there's an 8, that's unusual.
8.
There's no question there. Yeah, look at that. The wind has shifted, hasn't it?
It has quite a bit.
Big impact on your float with a compound bow. Remember, you're only holding maybe 18, 20 pounds. Us recurve shooters, we're holding the full weight, and sometimes that can be really helpful from simply a mechanical leverage point of view.
10.
And
like a good recovery shot.
They're calling that a 10. That's on the line. That might not actually be a 10. We'll see when the judges get to it.
X.
There's our first 10 from Abigail.
Just barely caught the top of the X ring on that one.
Yeah.
Well, like we were saying, though, you know, when the conditions are the way they are right now, things could shift around a little bit. We're going to see, we're not going to see a difference at this second end, but with 9 arrows to go, a lot can still happen.
Olivia with their final shot here.
And there's an X, a 10, actually.
Good way to come back.
Yeah, that's a good comeback indeed.
So
Olivia, who has a lot of experience shooting at this level, she is dominating the match so far.
For sure, and she's had, in her elimination matches leading up to this, she's shot really high scores in these conditions, so she looks confident.
Yeah, in fact,
Abigail's created quite a hole for herself.
Yeah, that's unfortunately true. However, sometimes you can take this as a learning experience. Hey, silver medal at this event, not a bad thing.
Absolutely, and these types of matches that you're having in the venue with everybody watching and it's being broadcast, those, you got to do them to get the experience so that you can do them better when it counts. So it's only going to benefit her in the long run.
For decades, the Arizona Cup has always been sort of seen as the unofficial open of the outdoor season worldwide. We used to have archers come here from Nordic countries, for example. They'd come out for a month in advance to train, especially when it was at the Arizona State University campus. We still have a substantial international turnout. We have archers here from Mexico, from Canada, also from Denmark, and from Netherlands this year.
Yeah.
It's not quite what it used to be when we had the entire Swedish team here and teams of that sort, but I'll tell you.
There were a couple years where it was a Paralympic qualifier, and we had Paralympic teams here from Japan, from Great Britain, from all over the world as well.
Yeah, I've met lots of Paralympians in the past at the Arizona Cup while I was shooting here as a competitor in the regular competition, and I can tell you it's the same from the standpoint of being a great opportunity to start your season, because generally the weather has generally been cooperative. Now, typically it's always windy here, but it's generally about 20 degrees warmer than it is right now.
I mean, it was 20 degrees warmer yesterday.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Substantial change. And of course, that's part of the reason why it's windy right now. Okay, we've got a 6-point differential in favor of Olivia on target number 2. Abigail shooting first on target number 1. Left-hand side of your screen. (10-9) liner.
She looked surprised on that shot, but it went right in the middle. So
Well, you know, I think that
Wind's really gusting.
that's really the
here.
factor. And it's going to be the factor for the rest of the afternoon for every category. There's a 10, and you know, it's interesting. They're both shooting out the right-hand side there.
Yeah.
You're looking at a situation where there was certainly a bit of a push. Abigail with a good shot.
9.
It is just out, but you know, her 2 arrows are less than a centimeter apart.
Yeah, the windsock midway down the field here is sticking straight out.
Oh, that is a 7, and that
7.
underscores what we were talking about earlier.
Absolutely. This match is definitely not over.
A 10 right now would apply some pressure. And that's an 8. It's out the downwind side, so you know, I think it's perfect height. It's just out the right side, right where the wind pushed it.
It really is picked up quite a bit just in this last few minutes.
And there's an 8.
Okay.
So things have become interesting with 6 shots to go.
So Abigail picked up a few points there.
Yep, no doubt about it. Closing the gap. Question is, will that apply pressure to the experienced Olivia? She looks just as relaxed as she did when she started, to be honest with you.
She sure does.
You got to remember how young both of these ladies are. You know, 19 years old for Abigail and 17 years old for Olivia. That's remarkable. Think about it. You know, here they are. I mean, the likes of Paige Pierce competing at this event.
Yeah.
You know, super experienced competitors from around the country and around the world, and these two are the ones on the finals field. Great accomplishment.
It really speaks volumes to their ability and their skill and talent, but also their confidence to be able to shoot well in conditions that were less than ideal today.
Yeah.
Looks like Abigail has made up a few points, but is still trailing at the moment by 4.
So four points with 6 to go. We'll see how much this swings on the next 3 arrows.
Exactly. And as we've seen, you know, with these gusty conditions pushing the, it doesn't just push the arrow around, it's pushing the shooter around.
Yeah, for me, I feel like that's my biggest disadvantage in the wind is not necessarily the wind drift. I can account for that, but it's when I'm being pushed while I'm trying to execute.
Abigail Winterton on target number 1. And there's an X.
Shot.
X.
I look very confident.
This will be a critical shot right now. This will help decide some more of the momentum of the rest of this match with 5 shots to go after this next one. And it's an 8. Cuts the gap by half.
Absolutely. Yeah, that looked like it really surprised Olivia too. Interesting because the wind actually lulled there a little bit.
It did. And there's a dead center X, took out the spider.
X.
Abigail's really settled in.
We could be witnessing a reversal here. It's very possible. You know, the wind always has there's a 10.
10.
It's on the downwind side, but she hooked it in. Wind has a rhythm, and in this case, there's a 10.
9.
So we have a 10, 10, 9 on those first 3 arrows.
This is the second time they've had an issue with the clock.
Yes, I noticed that.
Swinging back over to
That's not
Olivia.
great for the mental flow of the shooter.
Yeah, that's definitely going to play with you a little bit.
No doubt.
Big shot here from Olivia.
It's actually the wrong clock that's up right now. And top of the 9 ring.
9.
I can't see, you have the scope. Did that catch?
It caught the 9, but it's very interesting.
So
as the gap is narrowing, how will they react?
Abigail sure looked like she found her groove that one. So
No
we'll
doubt.
see how that plays out in the last 3 arrows.
Yep. So let's update the unofficial score as we get the next numbers here because it's just been brought to my attention that we don't actually have it showing on the screen. So I'll make sure I get that information to you folks a little more regularly here. As of right now, we're looking at 108 points on the board for Abigail. And we're just waiting for the score update for Olivia. And it's a 2-point advantage for Olivia. It's down to 2 points, 3 shots to go, Eric.
Yep.
This is when the adrenaline starts to flow.
For sure. So Abigail cut 2 points just on that one end. Can she do it again?
She was as far back as 6. She's made up at least 4. Now she has this great opportunity. Will we have proven to be prophetic? Will we see a reversal? We'll find out in the next 3 shots.
The thing I like about the best is going into this is she shooting first too, which I think with this wind is
could be a big advantage. What I was alluding to earlier when I was talking about the rhythm there, Eric, is I felt like maybe Abigail was getting a little bit of a break, and there is a upwind 9. Her height is perfect.
It is, yeah.
And there's a 9.
Okay.
2 arrows to go, 2-point separation. What do you think? Shoot off?
I hope so.
I hope so too. Right on top of that first shot there, double 9s. They're less than a centimeter apart.
Yeah.
It's a well shot arrow, but I think she's overcompensating for the wind on that. Now this one's critical. And that's a 9.
All right, well.
It's coming down to the last shot.
Abigail's going to definitely need to put a 10 right here.
She needs a 10, absolutely. And that's a 9. It's on the downwind side.
So Olivia just needs to hold gold.
Yep, anything in the gold, and it's all hers. Here she goes, and it's a 10. There is victory for Olivia Dean.
Hey, hats off to Abigail for making that match
Well, I'll tell you what, she certainly recovered and brought a very admirable performance.
For sure. She can take those last 3 ends she just shot, build off of that, take the silver medal, and she's got a bright future.
Absolutely. That was a hard-won silver medal as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
That looked as good as it gets. By the time they got down to those last 6 arrows, it was, honestly, it was still in play. And hats off to Olivia for keeping her cool and delivering what she needed at the very end there.
Absolutely. Nothing like winning on a solid 10.
Now, coming up next, we've got a live interview with our champion now that the scores are confirmed. And first, though, we've got the Olympic trials that have been going on this week.
Yeah.
And that includes stage 3, which has been spread over 2 days period. We had Tuesday and Wednesday here in Arizona. On Wednesday, the field for the men and the women was cut to the final 8.